Right now on the National Weather Desk, crash landing. A possible meteorite slams into a New Jersey home.
I did touch the thing because I just thought it was a random rock. I don't know. And it was warm.
Dust storms. New research suggests they are deadlier than previously thought.
Dust storms can and are hitting everywhere at any time.
Meet the hunters helping ducks who nest in odd places.
In the middle of a high school courtyard. I've seen a drive-through, some coffee restaurants in town.
A snowy winter means it's going to be a great summer for lake boating out west.
Last year, you could literally see mud between all these slips.
And we're heading up, up, and away at the Gulf Coast Hot Air Balloon Festival.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. It had not happened in 46 years until Sunday. A tornado touched down in Henderson County in western North Carolina. Taylor Thompson spoke with surprised residents now cleaning up that damage.
This is definitely my first time experiencing a tornado, especially here when everyone's, the old saying goes, we have all the mountains and hills that it'll deflect the tornadoes.
Sean says Sunday began as a calm evening as he was looking forward to falling asleep to the rain, but that peaceful moment didn't last.
What I thought was thunder started to build up, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a good one. And then it got louder and louder and louder.
Tuesday, May 9th, and this morning, lawmakers are racing against the clock to address the debt ceiling before it runs out of...
Middle of my house, and then as I came outside, I started to notice all the debris everywhere. I honestly couldn't believe it, when something like that happens out of nowhere, when you had no idea, no thunder, tornado warnings or anything, you think, okay, this is not going to be too bad. And then when you walk out, it's it's hard to really know what to think.
His neighbor, Tyler Nicholson, came home Sunday night to a yard full of debris and trees that just barely missed his home.
God had his hand on it, that's for sure.
Both Tyler and Sean are looking on the bright side.
It is humbling, to be honest with you. It could have been a lot worse.
It's just been kind of a hectic day, but it could be a lot worse. We're just thankful that everyone's okay.
And we're also learning that more tornadoes struck 2 other states over the weekend. The National Weather Service says 3 separate tornadoes touched down in northern Missouri Saturday evening. The strongest was an EF2 packing winds of 135 miles an hour. In Indiana, the National Weather Service confirms 4 tornadoes touched down there on Sunday morning, 1 in Georgetown and 2 in New Albany. Thankfully, no one was hurt in either state. Heavy rain, gusty winds, and hail hammered parts of Texas over the weekend as severe storms moved through the Abilene area. Karina Hollingsworth has the story of one couple dealing with the aftermath.
Look at those big old hells in our yard. It looks like it snowed.
We were inside playing a game, and all of a sudden we heard something like hit, and we're like, is it one of the dogs? Do they want to come in? And it started, hitting everywhere in our trailer.
Mary Franco and Jeff Chapman have had a lot of firsts together. Sunday, the couple experienced their first hailstorm.
It started coming down even more, and we started freaking out. So me and my chappie here, we started holding each other because me and him have never been through a situation like this.
I thought they were going to come through the roof, and that was going to be, we're just going to get pummeled. But we did have a couple come through in the bathroom.
Franco and Chapman say the hail did not shatter their spirits.
I grabbed a piece of hail, which was the size of my hand, and, we came out here and looked at the damage it did to our cars that we haven't even had for a month. It could have been worse. The good thing is at least me and him are still here.
There's a lot of damage. It's going to take a lot to get our vehicles. It's going to take a lot to get this fixed as well. It's completely destroyed on the roof, but the fact of the matter is we're still alive, we're still well. This is all stuff. Stuff doesn't matter.
And a New Jersey family has quite a story to tell after an apparent meteorite crashed through their roof and landed inside of their home. Carrie Corrado has the remarkable story.
It appears whatever came from the sky fell through the roof, this top left window. This is my dad's bedroom.
Susie Kopp says she found this hole in her father's home on Old Washington Crossing Pennington Road in Hopewell Township. At first, she says she thought someone threw a rock until she realized it was more than that.
We're thinking it's a meteorite. Came through here, hit the floor here because that's completely damaged. It ricocheted up to this part of the ceiling. and then finally coming down and resting just on the floor there.
Cop says no one was home at the time. As she stepped around the debris and sheetrock, she found this 4x6 metallic rock in the corner.
I did touch the thing because I just thought it was a random rock. I don't know. And it was warm.
Derek Pitts, chief astronomer at the Franklin Institute, says it could be 4 to 5 billion years old, left over from the beginning of the solar system.
It's been running around in space all that time, and now it's come to Earth, and it fell right into their laps. But for it to actually strike a house, for people to be able to pick up, that's really unusual. It has happened very few times in history.
Cop says emergency responders came and checked on her and her family.
They were afraid that, because if it fell from the sky, was it radioactive? Could we have any type of residue on us? They did scan us. Everything came back clear.
While this was a bizarre experience,
I just thank God that my father was not here. No one was here. We weren't hurt or anything.
Well, this is what sunrise looked like in Lewiston, Maine. It looks great, right? But if you look closely, you can see the lines in the sky. That's from wildfire smoke thousands of miles away. Meteorologist Christian Bridges explains.
We've got massive wildfires burning thousands of miles to our west in Alberta, in western Canada, and the jet stream has picked up that smoke, and it arrived in Maine yesterday. And you can see this almost milky looking area of clouds across central Canada. That is wildfire smoke, and we'll likely see this off and on through our air over the next several days.
For decades, dust storms have really been a fact of life in the Southwest, but as last week's deadly storm in Illinois shows us, they can happen anywhere. Now new research shows they are deadlier than previously thought. William Pitts explains.
Dust storms. They're a fact of Arizona monsoon life. Walls of dust tearing through the desert, swallowing entire cities, dropping visibility to almost nothing. Gritty, dirty, and dangerous. Experts looked at data from 2007 to 2017 and at first came up with 10 deaths, or one a year.
That's just not add up to what we know.
Daniel Tong co-wrote the paper that took a second look at the numbers and found they were way off.
We found that dust storms killed 20 times more people than previously known.
The real number is 232 people in 10 years. It happens in places like I-10, where there were so many crashes, ADOT installed a dust storm warning system.
This is all off-the-shelf technology, but to our knowledge, nobody else has ever combined all the elements into this system.
It's been installed for 3 years, and ADOT says it can tell that drivers are noticing. The system shows drivers slowing down when it activates, and it activates kind of a lot.
We've had between about 10 and 18 activations per year, with most of those occurring during the monsoon.
Monsoon is when we see the big walls of dust around Arizona, but the experts say dust storms can and are hitting everywhere at any time.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Like this massive 75-car crash when a dust storm rolled through Illinois.
Something that we really haven't experienced locally.
Tong says that's a preview of what's coming as climate change and drought bring dust storms to places that haven't usually seen them.
Well, dust is going to be with us just like COVID. It's going to be with us forever. It's going to happen anywhere.
80% of the U.S. population lives in urban areas. Typically, that means more pavement, buildings, and infrastructure that make cities hotter. But those same cities also have more than 5.5 billion trees. Research shows those trees can help reduce heat in some cities, prevent stormwater runoff, and reduce air pollution. But another study found up to 3/4 of trees across 164 cities worldwide could be at risk by 2050. You can learn much more about climate change in the latest edition of our podcast, Off the Radar. You'll hear about the difference in green space between high and low income neighborhoods and how hotter temperatures can also fuel violence. That's on the latest edition of Off the Radar. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. And talk about divots. These groundkeepers at the Franklin Country Club in Nebraska have some work to do after hail created thousands of divots all over the golf course. Debris from trees and bushes also littered the course. Workers and volunteers are patching all of those divots. Damage is expected to be thousands of dollars. The course is closed until further notice. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, NASA starts a new mission on one meant to help better understand hurricanes. And we usually don't talk politics, but here in Washington, D.C., there's a bill meant to improve severe weather forecasting.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti. Look at the northeast. Another nice looking day is on tap today. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than yesterday. Afternoon highs will top out in the 50s and 60s. We'll enjoy a lot of sunshine. Let's take you to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon today. Notice bright sunny skies. There'll be a northerly wind. It will gust around 15 to 20 miles per hour. If you're missing the warmer temperatures we had just the other day, we'll wait until Wednesday. That begins the next warm up. Look for unlimited sun with highs around 70. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Starting the day at 9 a.m., notice this big batch of rain across portions of the Delmarva all the way through lunchtime, especially northern Virginia, the Delmarva, as well as Maryland. Going to be seeing the on and off showers. Gets better during the afternoon, but as this weather maker exits, really going to put a damper on temperatures. Delmarva and Maryland highs only near 60, warmer south in the 70s and the 80s. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Your southeast forecast highs for the day. Looking at 84 Nashville, 82 Mobile, a little bit hotter across parts of the southeast. Charleston, 90 degrees, Macon 90, 92 Jacksonville. Looking at Tampa, about 92 degrees. So it looks like we're seeing a little bit of mixture of sun and clouds by the afternoon. Can't rule out some spotty showers around Atlanta, Marietta, down towards Macon and Albany. Looking at some spotty showers just north of Crestview. A few thunderstorms pushing through, but things will clear out through the evening hours.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
NASA just launched a new mission designed to improve hurricane forecasting.
2, 1.
And NASA launched the first 2 CubeSats into orbit on Monday. They are essentially mini satellites that can be as small as a Rubik's Cube and weigh about 3 pounds. The low orbit satellites will measure hour by hour formation and the progression of tropical cyclones and hurricanes, collecting never seen before data that will help experts better understand storms as well as improve forecasting and intensity tracking. A group of U.S. senators recently introduced the so-called Tornado Act. The legislation aims to improve hazardous weather and water event forecasting, including tornadoes, and how the public is notified when there is a weather emergency. Meteorologist Matt Gunn shows us some of the highlights of this bill.
The reintroduced bill is asking for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to use new technology and procedures to increase lead times provided to the public in advance of these severe weather events. Require NOAA to prepare and submit a plan showing how they intend to improve tornado forecasting, but ask for the current tornado rating system to be reevaluated. And finally, it would require NOAA to contact the appropriate entities when doing post-storm surveillance.
The Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee sent the bill to the full Senate for consideration. If it's approved, it would then go to the House, of course, House of Representatives. Electric bills can be pricey, and the outside temperature can make a big difference in the amount that you pay. Meteorologist Violet Skyborg breaks it down.
Let's look at a typical electric bill. The first quarter is usually from things like the dishwasher, TV, oven, lights, dryer, and fridge. Although the oven section might be a little bit larger, especially in New York State, where gas stoves and ovens are now being banned. So they're putting electric ovens in place now, and that may add a little bit more to your bill. Looking at the larger chunks here, though, your water heater takes a big chunk of your bill, but the largest chunk is actually from heating and cooling, which is why the temperature outside plays a big role in your bill, and also a big chunk from everything else, depending on what else you use your electric for. Looking at the temperature, though, energy consumption versus air temperature. Right when we're around room temperature, between 60 to 70, is when we use the less electric to heat or cool your home. The hotter it gets, obviously more AC you have to use. Cooler it gets, the more heating you have to use. A good tip, though, is that on warm days, right before a cool down, open up your windows and let your house heat up a little bit before that cooler period so that you can save a little bit of money on your heating bill.
In Wisconsin, ducks are starting to nest this time of year, but sometimes they do so in unsafe places. That's where the Green Bay Duck Hunters Association comes in with a group of duck rescuers. Gabriela Primus reports that they work to transfer ducks and their ducklings to safer environments.
It's not uncommon for the Green Bay Duck Hunters Association to find a duck nest in an odd place.
Planters outside the malls, in the middle of a high school courtyard. I see them at drive-thrus and some coffee restaurants in town, wide variety areas.
That's why the Duck Rescue Program is so crucial. The group of volunteers typically transfers close to 800 nests a year.
So the big thing is not so much even the nest itself, it's more when the eggs hatch and the ducklings are out, because mom is going to want to take those ducklings to a wetland much like this one, and if they're in the middle of the city, they got to cross a lot of streets, potentially can get into a storm sewer, get caught down there. That's where it becomes an issue.
And that's where the Duck Rescue Program steps in. Patrella and volunteer Eric Johnson say it's not always easy getting the mother ducks to cooperate, but it's always worth it.
It's about giving back, right? As duck hunters, we're the conservationists.
Yesterday on this show, we showed you how Utah's massive snowpack could delay some popular summer activities. This morning, Brian Sneed shows us how the melting snow will help people who like to be out on the water.
Oh, yeah, and it's fun getting people at this time of year because, you can see all the snow. And
Jeff Manwaring runs exclusive excursions. He says the marina at the Great Salt Lake is already looking better than last year.
Oh, absolutely. If there's water between the slips, that's a good thing. Last year, you could literally see mud between all these slips.
His company runs boat tours off the Great Salt Lake. And while they had to shut down early last year,
that's just going to be a great summer, I think.
He says this year won't be the same.
Come on out to the Great Salt Lake. We got plenty of water.
Other areas benefiting from the snow, our state parks and reservoirs.
We're expecting the ramp to stay open longer.
Chris Nelson with Utah State Parks says they had to shut down boat ramps at several state parks due to lower water last year. But this year will be different. Not only getting the boat in, but once you're out on the water as well.
So there's definitely more space for our visitors to come and enjoy. So if you are into wake boating, there's more space between the wake boaters and the kayakers and the fishermen.
And if you're looking to camp, the state parks are ready.
Most of our snow has melted. We're still planning on opening our campground May 1st for reservations.
The historic snowpack has presented some unique challenges. But if you love the snow, some unique opportunities as well.
If you're the kind of person who wants to go out backcountry ski in July, there will probably be accessible snow.
And when it rains, there's a scent. That distinctive smell. Turns out there's a science to that smell. Meteorologist John Gum says it's likely one of three things.
First of all, we've got bacteria in the soil. Yes, bacteria down in the soil. And those bacteria secrete something called geosmin. And when it rains, that earthly smelling chemical is released into the air. Also, during dry spells, plants produce something called petrichor. And when it rains, that petrichor also gets released into the air, and it has a distinctive smell. Finally, lightning can create the smell of rain. When lightning strikes, it can split oxygen molecules into individual atoms, and those combine with oxygen to create something you've heard of. It's called ozone, and that too has a distinctive smell. So the next time you're outside and it rains and you smell that smell, breaking down the science, it's either petrichor, geosmin, or ozone that you're smelling, or perhaps a combination of all three.
That's not blowing snow. That's actually blowing sand. Strong winds at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, made the beach seem more like a frozen tundra. There's a chance of rain today, but temperatures will be in the upper 80s. The rest of the week, of course, looks fantastic. And as we go to break, images from last weekend's Gulf Coast Hot Air Balloon Festival in Foley, Alabama.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Temperatures staying kind of warm across most of the Midwest over the next few days here. Got some scattered rain out across the plains and some out in the Ohio Valley moving out of here as we move on into your Wednesday. Still some scattered showers and storms across the plains, sunshine across the Ohio Valley, and pretty much the same situation heading into Thursday. Humidity starting to build. Temperatures going up for us, along with the humidity as well for Thursday, with more scattered showers and storms across a lot of the plains.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Succi. Look at our forecast today across the region, and starting off with some showers and thunderstorms. Houston and around the San Antonio area. Austin through the day. We'll continue to see showers and storms. Southeast Texas, Louisiana with some rain. A little bit of a severe risk to Panhandle in Oklahoma. And then we head into Wednesday. Swirling area of low pressure with some showers and storms around it. That continues in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and East Texas, Louisiana through the afternoon Wednesday with highs 70s and 80s.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Look at the heat in the desert Southwest. We're into the middle of May, and we're nearly at the triple digits here out of Phoenix. A high of 94 there in the heart of southern Arizona. Low 60s back over Reno. You see the 50s and the 60s back over the Intermountain West. And as we head into this afternoon, we'll see some of those scattered showers or thunderstorms bubbling up in the Rockies outside of Denver. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Take a look at this rainbow. Charleston, South Carolina meteorologist Dave Williams spotted this against his living room wall. The glass in the foreground acted like a prism, bending the light and dispersing it into its component colors. Meanwhile, enjoy a couple of recent colorful sunrise views, one from Fairhope, Alabama, and the other from Jonesboro, Tennessee.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Parts of the southeast are starting to feel the sizzle of summer. Meteorologist Ryan Miranda says it's not unusual in the south, but the numbers show there's a change afoot.
With our first 90-degree day, they usually start here in Macon around May 5th, and then our average last 90-degree day comes around September 25th. So it's rather normal that we are seeing our first taste of summer here in the beginning of May, but we are noticing that the amount of 90-degree days are really starting to ramp up. Since the year 1900, the average number of 90-degree days throughout the whole year was 77. However, when you start that at 2000, that average number jumps all the way up to 90. So we're definitely getting a lot more of those hot days.
And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, California's largest reservoir is near capacity. What that will mean for the summer and how long it could all last. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and we'll see you right back here.